Another man who just loved to get his hands on that trophy is Donegal hotelier Brian McInniff. As a player and manager, it's been a lifetime ambition. This could be his year.
I think really for our dream started was after a defeat by the Dubs in the quarterfinals of the National League, where we threw away 2 goals in the last 90 seconds. We trained the following night in Donegal town, something I'd never heretofore done. But we resolved that day that we had sunk as low as we had after the Ulster final defeat from down the previous year, the quarter-final defeat by Dublin, and that we ourselves, within ourselves, owed it to ourselves that before we would finish playing, to go ahead and win the Ulster Championship again and take it from there. And we had in the back of our minds, believe it or not, an All-Ireland Championship at that stage.
First round against Cavan, at one stage, you must have thought you may have been out.
I remember actually slipping up the pitch some 20 minutes into the game, and at that stage Cavan had gone out to 5-point lead. We were playing with a reasonable wind and being very disappointed actually at the performance. But we were fortunate in the fact that Tony Boyle got a goal. It was one of those lucky goals, in the fact it could have been very marginal. The call up the referee that day might well have been a square ball. But it turned the game, and into the wind in the second half. I was very pleased with the performance. It's one of the better halves of the Donegal performance to date.
The ball's in the middle. Jim Kern has examined his watch, but he's still going to give a free for a hand on the jersey.
At stages we always thought we could have lost that match, but we believed in ourselves, and there was one stage where 5 points down against Camden looked bad. It didn't look as if we were being on Ireland final now, but we held in there and we got a goal at an important stage, and that last kick was important and probably kept us in the championship. But that's when you have a bit of luck, maybe them balls go over the bar, you know.
Fully 50 metres out, straight in front of the goal. Pours it into his left foot. The pressure there, unbelievable.
After beating Fermanagh in the semi-final, it was on to the final against Derry. Derry were the big favourites, and yet with 14 men for all of the second half, you came back to win it. You must have been very pleased about the commitment of the team.
Yeah, I would have to say in the second half that I was very pleased. Probably the best part of the Donegal performance this year was the second half, and the fact that we had one man short. But I was more pleased with the way we played our football. We got the ball through early to the full forwards, who took quite a few scores against the wind and against the hill in the second half. But the overall commitment of the side, which was something we had worked very, very hard on this year, was to be seen on that particular day. And that was the first time I felt that maybe it was within this squad to go the whole way.
I think Donegal are a very, very experienced side, first of all. They've been around for a while, they've been playing together for a long time. And I think they should be favourites. I think they're speedy, I think they're very good forwards, they have a strong midfield. Their backs, one or two of them I would say, there might be a couple of weak links there. As we have a couple as well. But I think overall they're a good, I think if you look at the Derry game, you will see the real Donegal. That to me was the real Donegal.
Reid picks the ball up and feeds too well for Tommy Ryan. Goes off Danny Quinn, and that is a majestic score. Floats it in, men under it, Donegal men. One of them is Matt Gallagher. Rounds up into trouble by that extra toe tap attack, puts it in again, finds
we did. To overplay the ball physically the biggest team and strongest team in the country left a lot to be desired. But the one positive aspect of our display that was that when we needed to continue to play, we dug deep, we found in reserve an extra bit of strength, and we took the game to Mayo, and eventually, because of our superior fitness, we carried the day. But our overall performance would have been disappointing against Mayo, and a similar performance against Dublin wouldn't do at all.
The problems Donegal had was the too many free takers, and they had none. But everybody was practicing them, like, you know, that day in Croke Park, just everything turned out wrong. Normally, only one free taker has an off day, but that day in Croke Park, everybody seemed to have an off day. I mean, at the end of the day, we're happy enough with the result. Even the frees didn't go the way that we hoped.
Donegal do have too many free takers. They should give I think they should give the responsibility to one player and let him sort it out himself.
Donegal or Ulster believe that Donegal's going to win, but we really believe ourselves that this team is good enough to win the All-Ireland.
You really believe that?
Yeah, we really believe that. You know, we've played Dublin a lot of times. They beat us in the league final, I think, with 2 very late goals, but we still believe that we're good enough. to beat anybody in the country when we play, and hopefully we can produce the goods on the 20th.
The training has gone very, very well. We're fitter than we've ever been, and hopefully with a good support there to get behind us. We need a good start in the game against the Dubs. They always seem to get a good start, so we'll be hoping to hold them for the first 10 or 15 minutes and settle into our game and take it from there.
Has been decorating Donegal for weeks. Captain Anthony Malloy's hometown of Ardra, no exception. The excitement is mounting. The job for Brian McAniff and Malloy is to maintain a realistic perspective on the game itself.
We're going to go back. I know we're going there as underdogs, but I think we're well prepared. We will shut this Dublin on the day, and I think if we get the breaks, we can do it.
Did you watch Paddy O'Rourke last year lifting the cup, and if so, did you imagine that a year later you could be doing the same?
I never imagined that right there, but I was kind of retired at the time, and but I'm glad now I came back into the football scene again, and I can't believe it, like, you know, that we got this far this year.
And how is the leg then?
The leg is not great, but I just keep hanging in there. Thankfully, it's held up great this year so far. I could manage to train and play as much as I wanted this year, so it has been great so far this year.
So what would you say it is at the minute, 80% fit, or?
I would say 80% fit, and very, very determined.
The build-up has been equally intense in Kilcar, Big Hugh country. Martin and James, the local heroes, for their contributions to the Donegal attack. The Kilcar folk are football mad, and they'll be right behind the famous brothers. But in this remote town, there lives a foreigner, a Dubliner. A bit of a predicament, surely.
In one way, it's a no-win situation, because no matter who wins the game, if Donegal wins, they'll be coming in and saying, yeah, 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 and if Dublin wins, they'll be coming in and saying, you lousy, you beat us. So it's a no-win situation. On the other hand, I'm in a no-lose situation, because either my home county is going to win, or the county of my choice where I'm living is going to win. So I prefer to think of it as a no-lose situation.
You're not showing any colours in the pub here, certainly not the blue of Dublin anyway.
I decided to compromise. I put up no colours. You know, being a Dublin man, if I put up a flag, I'd have to put up my own county flag, and I think that'd be a bit in the heart of Gaelic football in Donegal. It'd be a bit much to put up a Dublin flag. So the compromise is I put up neither. There's 30 other counties, and they could have been playing any of them, and that'd be great. I could scream for Donegal. Unfortunately, we're stuck, and we'll have to see what happens.
Just up the road, Killybegs have 4 players on the county team. It's another of the hotbeds of football, although it's rivaled by fishing, a major industry in this part of the world, and sometimes the two clash.
During the summer, luckily enough, the boats are usually tied up for most of the summer, and this year, due to the Donegal's input into the All-Ireland Championship, it's going to have an adverse effect for the Killybegs club, because come the end of September, October, the boys will have to go to fish, and it's very difficult to get time off for them.
One man who doesn't go out on the boats is Barry Cunningham. He lives half of the year in America, the other half in Donegal. From his travels, he knows that interest in the big game isn't confined to home.
Well, as you know, there's a lot of emigration from Donegal, and New York is a very popular place to go, you know, for Donegal people. And we're expecting, you know, to be maybe anything up to 5,000 or 10,000 people stuck out there watching the game in bars, you know, and there's going to be great interest. And having been out there for past All-Ireland finals, you know, involving other teams, I mean, a few years ago, Tyrone were there, last year Down were there, and we know that Donegal gave them great support, being from Ulster, of course, and this year is going to be something special because it's ourselves, you know.
Barry's American girlfriend was the New York Rose at Tralee recently. Love is also in the air for centre half-back Martin Gavigan. He gets married next week, and that's just a matter of days after the final.
Well, it's the first available date after the summer, and I think we'd take, a year ago we didn't really plan that we would be in an All-Ireland final, and we'd have to cope with that as well. But I think we'll manage both.
Did you have it in the back of your mind that you might just have a fantastic week then?
Well, that possibility is always there, but I never really dreamed about it, you know. But now it's a reality, and I have to cope with it, and I think it'll probably be the best week in my life.
An awful question, but will it matter if you win come wedding day?
Well, I think there'll be a few guests there uninvited, but as long as we have Sam, we'll be happy.
Martin is hoping for a repeat of these magical scenes after the semi-final. But for one lady in particular, from Ballyshannon, the emotion of Donegal finally reaching their first final was almost too much.
Last year, because they welcomed an opening up of the game and they welcomed an opening up of the potential for success. And I think the same applies to this year's All-Ireland final. There will be those who would hope that Dublin will win and Dublin are favourites. But there will be an awful lot of counties who will be supporting Donegal, partly because they're underdogs, but more importantly maybe because it will again open up the possibility of success for lots of other counties, and it will increase the range of counties who believe that they have a chance of winning the All-Ireland, are realistic.
It will be the greatest moment of my life.